Hi there. The dictionary tells us that to risk is to expose oneself to the chance of loss. I suppose that is true. Another piece of literature by the unknown author suggests, and I'm just going to read it, to laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. Place your ideas, your dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. It's Aleksandra Minto here, an executive coach and mentor, and today we're going to talk about why risk-taking is essential to your success, happiness, and fulfillment. We may avoid suffering and sorrow if we don't risk, but we simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love, or live. The greatest hazard, I believe, in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing does nothing, thus has nothing. Only a person who risks is free. But what causes most of us to shy away from taking risk, even if it is a low risk and it will give us something that we really want? Well, certainly high on most people's list would be fear of loss, failure, and perceived humiliation if the loss were to occur. Why would we automatically think that we would fail at something? Why wouldn't we first try and see, and then if we did fail, learn from that experience and move on? What causes us to have these thoughts of inferiority? Well, it dates back to our childhood, and since risk-taking is likely not a subject that is taught at school, a person's fear of taking risk might stem back from before they can even remember. When you were a child, taking your very first steps, it wasn't uncommon to hear one of your parents or guardians say, "Be careful, you might fall," or "Don't do that, it's dangerous." Though some of this is rhetoric and you don't really pay much attention to it, for some it begins the pattern of playing it safe. Think of how much better equipped we would be to face life's challenges and succeed if we had repeatedly heard, "Take a chance and don't worry about falling because you're going to fall," probably quite often. Falling is an important part of learning. Many of the greatest lessons you will receive in life are going to come from falling, from failures, really. Falling will never make us a failure unless we quit. Unfortunately, very few people heard that when they were growing up. The vast majority of our population have been mentally programmed to play it safe. A little baby is a natural born risk taker. The baby never considers the consequences of falling when it is learning to walk. Falling is acknowledged as a natural consequence to learning to walk. I guess you could call it a calculated gamble. It's a prerequisite to mastering a myriad of motor skills required to get you on your feet and moving. It's a natural progression in movement. Why then wouldn't we stop to consider that any movement into uncharted territory would be viewed with the same consideration? Why is it that we do not see the process of reaching our goals as having steps similar to the ones the baby must take in order to learn to walk? There will be some stumblings and falling and in the learning process, but success can only be reached when we are prepared to take those steps. All of them, actually, even the ones where we may fall down. The real win is the confidence and experience we acquire, which translates into new opportunities for growth, enjoyment, and expansion in all areas of our life. There is a 4-letter word that most parents use around their children so frequently that the children pick it up, and before too long, it is buried in the treasury of their subconscious mind. That 4-letter word is can't. This word has done more damage than a lot of other frowned upon four-letter words put together. Can't is the word that paralyzes any constructive progress. It switches your mind into the negative frequency. It is a four-letter word that it will just open up your mind to never-ending flow of logical, practical reasons which will enable you to justify why you are not able to do something you sincerely want to accomplish. The only alternative to that four-letter word is the polar opposite. I can. I can is far more important than IQ. You don't necessarily have to be very smart to win, but you must be willing. Reaching the goal is not success. Success is moving toward the goal. Taking risks is essential when you want to reach a goal and the purpose of that goal is growth. When you challenge yourself, you bring more of yourself to the surface. My mentor used to say, if you dream of living your life in a really big way, you must accept risk-taking as a part of your life. And that's exactly what I did, and my life has changed like never before. So make a decision right now to change. Decide this very moment that there's going to be no more playing it safe, no more saving it for a rainy day. Because when people get caught up in the habit of saving for a rainy day, that is generally what they get, a rainy day. There are so many people that limit themselves and refuse to take risks. They never truly test the strength of their own abilities. And you'll never get to second base if you keep one foot on first. Too many people go through their entire lives playing their cards close to their chest. They'll never step out and bet on the surest thing in the world, themselves. If you hope to accumulate great wealth or achieve high goals, history shows that the first few steps have a high degree of risk. You must turn your back on safety and security. To make it big, you must take big risks. You will very likely have to put yourself in a highly vulnerable position, but it is also worth remembering that you cannot almost take a risk. Eleanor Roosevelt said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Follow her advice and liberate yourself from the crippling emotional state of fear. And by doing so, you will achieve that state of freedom. Freedom of choice and creating the life you truly desire. So let me know in the comments below, how do you feel around fear? How do you experience fear? Do you allow the fear to control you and cripple you? Or do you actually use that power of your awareness and thinking and turn it into motivation and fuel? I would love to hear from you, so leave me some comments and some feedback, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be updated with entrepreneurship and successful mindset tips. And I thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week.